Welcome back to part 2 of my greatest metal albums throughout the years. There's obviously a part 1, because this is part 2. It was supposed to be one video, but I went on so much, I'm doing it again now. If you haven't watched the first one, go and watch that. That'll explain it. If you've watched the first one, you'll know what I'm doing here, and we're carrying on with the shit that I did last time. So let's just go, alright? Just a bit of context for you guys out there who can't be bothered to go back and look at part 1. You know, disappointing, but, you know, fine. Loudwire, at the beginning of this year, they put out an article where they listed what they believed to be the top metal albums of every year, going from 1970 all the way to 2023. Last video I did 1970 up to 1999. The whole point of this is that I would then look at their choice and see whether I agreed with it or not, and if I didn't agree with it, I'd present an alternative. So I went through a lot of the albums of the same year and chose what I thought accordingly. There were so many albums that I missed, so many albums that I didn't even think about. It's incredible how many I missed. Many of you commented. Part 2 is no different. I could have re-recorded it. I didn't. There's going to be a lot of albums in here that I've missed. There's going to be a lot of opinions that you guys have. Make sure you leave your comments. Go at it. Go at it. Tell me exactly what you think of me. Be creative, because YouTube blocks, you know, offensive stuff, so be creative with your insults. And yeah, let's get into the video. I missed a lot. There's so many albums that I missed out. Okay, moving on to 2000. Iron Maiden, Brave New World. I do enjoy this album. This is a great Maiden album. This is the return of Bruce Dickinson after he had been out of the band for a while. You had what's his name, Blaze Bayley, who took over. I do think Blaze Bayley gets way too much shit, but going back and listening to some of those albums, his voice just wasn't up to snuff. It just really wasn't. This is actually a great album. There's a lot of great stuff. The Wicker Man is great. I love Blood Brothers. That's a great song. But was it really the best album of 2000? What else did we have? Immortal, Damned in Black. That's a great album. Crisian, Immolation, Close to a World Below. I personally would go for Immolation. Then again, you had Opeth with My Arms, Your Hearse. That's difficult to go against as well. I really enjoy this album, Brave New World. I think it's a great album. I mean, you also had Pantera's Reinventing the Steel. That's probably my... Actually, I should be saving that for a ranking, really. But that's probably on the lower end of my favourite albums with the Pantera stuff, to be honest with you. I personally would probably go for Immolation with Close to a World Below. Incredible death metal album and one of Immolation's best. So, love Brave New World, but yeah, I'm going to give it to Immolation. So there. Moving on to 2001, Tool, Lateralis. This is a great album. There's no denying that. However, Opeth also released... Oh, hang on, moving the wrong one. Opeth also released Blackwater Park, Neurosis, A Sun That Never Sets, Gorguts, From Wisdom to Hate, My Dying Bride, Rammstein with Mutter. That was a huge album. Huge album. For me personally, I might actually go with Mutter. But then again, this is a fantastic Tool album. Then again, yeah, Blackwater Park. There's an argument for Blackwater Park as well, but I mean, Tool, they're a huge band, and this is definitely a very important album in their discography. So yeah, we'll go with this. We'll let them have it. Moving on to 2002, Agalloch with The Mantle. This is a great album. The amount of people in the comment section of my videos who have bought up Agalloch is pretty insane, and I've been listening to this album a lot, and it is a fantastic album. However, you also had Immortal with Sons of Northern Darkness, which is a fucking banger of an album. I love that album. Opeth with Deliverance, Nile in their Darkened Shrines. That's a great album. Down released their second album. Not as good as the first, to be fair. Yeah, this is... I could see this being at the top. I think there's definitely an argument for this. However, Immortal Sons of Northern Darkness, incredible album, as was Niles in their Darkened Shrines as well. So I think this is a fair pick. Incredibly atmospheric album, and definitely a good pick. 2003, Children of Bodom with Hate Crew, Death Roll. Solid album. Also this year you had Sleep with Dope Smoker, Black Dahlia Murder, Unhallowed, their debut album. Great debut by that band. Iron Maiden's Dance of Death, whatever. Dimmu Borgir, not a huge fan. Type of Negative, Life is Killing Me. Killing Joke. Strapping Young Lad. Opeth Damnation, Dream Theater, Train of Thought. Personally, for me, I would actually possibly go with Black Dahlia Murder's debut or Dope Smoker. It's not for everybody, that album, but it's it's something else, that album. I do love Children of Bodom though. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this one. Children of Bodom with Hate Crew, Death Roll, Sleep's Dope Smoker, Black Dahlia Murder, Unhallowed. I mean, there are some other good stuff is here, but there's nothing that really hugely leaps out at me for 2003, unfortunately. So Children of Bodom, fair enough. Represent Alexei. God, rest in peace, mate. Moving on to 2004 with Mastodon. I will be surprised if I see anything that changes my mind on this one. I love this album. This was a hugely important album for me when it came out. I was kind of losing. I wasn't listening to music as much as I used to at that point. It's kind of funny actually going through these lists. The last couple of years have been a bit more lackluster in terms of albums that I was bothered about. This album really did open my eyes. This album made me pick up guitar again. There were so many elements of this album that just blew my absolute mind. Incredible album. Arguably still their best. I adore this album. There's not a huge amount else. I mean, Lamb of God's Ashes of the Wake also come out, and that's definitely a contender. But for me, yeah, I'm going to go with Mastodon, Leviathan. I think it's an incredible album, and I still listen to the fudge out of that damn thing now. 2005, Opeth with Ghost Reveries. Again, this is another fantastic album. Bolt Thrower released Those Once Loyal, Dream Theater. I've never been a huge Dream Theater fan. That doesn't stop me, respecting them. They've been a huge influence to so many people, without a doubt. How is it the System of a Down hasn't come? There's so many of these years I've been looking at, and there's so many albums that just haven't appeared, which is quite crazy, really, because I haven't mentioned System of a Down at all. Gojira, From Mars to Sirius. That's also an incredible album. High on Fire, Strapping Young Lads, Alien, that was an incredible album. Napalm Death, Code is Red. I love Napalm Death. But yeah, I think this is a fair one. Ghost Reveries is an incredible album, and this is definitely Opeth really hitting their creative peak, in my opinion. Hopefully the new album is going to be a banger. 2006, Mastodon, Blood Mountain. I'm not sure I agree with this one. I love this album, and I'm a huge Mastodon fan. However, you also had Celtic Frost with Monotheist, which is an incredible album. Tool, 10,000 Days, not a lot of people's favourite Tool album, I know, but still a great album. Agalloch, Ashes Against the Grain. Who else do we have? Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with this one. Enslaved with Rune. Have a bit of food. This is going on. This is supposed to be a quick video. Part of me is inclined to let this one slide purely because of my bias towards Mastodon, but I'm not sure I'd have picked this. I might actually go Celtic Frost with Monotheist. This was their return after quite a while, and that's an incredible album. So I'm not sure I agree with Blood Mountain as much as I love the Dawn. 2007, Between the Buried and Me with Colours. Is it Tommy, the vocalist? He's got an incredible voice, very versatile, incredible band. I do enjoy Between the Buried and Me. Incredibly technical, progressive metal. I do enjoy this album a lot. Primordial also released an album. Machine Head's Blackening also came out this year. That's quite a big one. Type of Negative, Dead Again, huge Typo fan. There's a lot of albums that could potentially be on this. I'd almost be tempted to go with Blackening by Machine Head for this year. Nothing against Between the Buried and Me, fantastic band, but that really was that really is just an incredible album. It's a banger. Every single song is absolutely fantastic, and it revitalised Machine Head to so many people. So love Colours, but I would personally go with Machine Head. Machine Head. 2008 Meshuggah with Obscene. Is it Obscene or Obscene? I'm not sure. This is a difficult one to go against. Bleed, as overplayed as it is now, that song is, you can't help but listen to that song and just be mesmerised by the technicality. That's absolutely insane. What else do we have? Cloud Kicker. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Cloud Kicker. He was a guy who did a lot of music on MySpace, but is absolutely incredible. He released The Discovery. Gojira, The Way of All Flesh. That's a contender. That was a fantastic album. Opeth, Watershed. Arguably their last great album as well. This is a difficult one. Not a huge amount that's screaming out at me. I think we'll go with this one just purely for the influence alone. It's just absolutely insane. Yeah, Meshuggah, Obscene, we'll go with that. 2009 Crack the Sky, I would say yes immediately. This album blew my mind. Mastodon, a very polarising band. I remember going to see, I think I might have seen Metallica in 2009, 2010. I ended up talking with a couple of people in the crowd, and Mastodon got brought up in the conversation, and they were just like, yeah, I just don't get them. They seem to be one of those bands that you either get or you don't. But this album is absolutely incredible. This is, I said earlier about Leviathan being their best album. I think it's usually a tie-up between this and Leviathan. But for me, Crack the Sky is the album of 2009. I absolutely love that album. I listen to it a lot still to this day. In fact, I've got an unopened copy here of their 15th anniversary edition of Crack the Sky. So I'll do an unboxing of that at some point. I intend to. Yeah, we'll stick with that for me. 2010 Ghost with Opus Eponymous. I know there are a lot of people who watch this channel who are not fans of Ghost. I do like Ghost. I think they're a great band. I think they've done a lot of great stuff. This is their first album, and it was something different at the time. It really was. Doesn't sound anything like they do now. This was much more rooted in... This was much darker. This was... there's definitely a Blue Oyster Cult influence with the band, but there was a real darkness to this album that was difficult to deny. I would be inclined to go with this one, yes. Well done, Ghost, you got through. Moving on to 2011 with Septic Flesh, The Great Mass. Now, I'm not a huge fan of symphonic death metal. I've always struggled with this sort of style of thing, same with bands like Dimmu Borgir and stuff like that. However, let's see what else there was. Black Dahlia Murder's Ritual, that was a fantastic album. Devil Wears Prada, Devin Townsend Project, Machine Head's Enter the Locust, Mastodon, Nightwish, Imaginarium, Opeth Heritage, no. There's not a huge amount of albums that come out that year that are particularly blowing my mind, so yeah, we'll give it to Septic Flesh, why not? It's a genre that I don't really appreciate that much, and so I don't really have a great deal to add or to go against, so yeah, solid. We'll give it to Septic Flesh. Go on, have it. 2012, Between the Buried and Me, the Parallax 2 Future Sequence, once again, I very much enjoy Between the Buried and Me. Let's see what else we had this year, however. Now at the Gates of Sethu, not one of the better albums, but a great one. Cattle Decapitation's Monolith of Inhumanity. I would be more inclined to go with that. This was Cattle Decapitation really coming into their own. A lot of their earlier stuff was full-on grindcore. As the albums went on, they started developing more of their sound. Monolith of Inhumanity is definitely where we're getting to a point where the band were really firing on all cylinders, and they have been ever since. Incredible band. I would go I would personally go with Cattle Decapitation. Sod it. I'm not even going on. I was supposed to be talking about Legacy and all this shit. That went out the window pretty damn quick. Ihsahn's Eremita, that was a great album as well. I really enjoyed that one. I would probably go Cattle Decapitation's Monolith. Dying Fetus reigns supreme. God damn it. Oh, there's a lot of good ones. Baroness, Yellow and Green album. There's a lot of good albums that come out in 2012. Travis Ryan's vocals alone are just otherworldly at this point. So yeah, I would go... I'm going to put in Cattle Decapitation for 2012. Pardon me. Moving on to 2013, Gorguts, Coloured Sands. This is a fantastic album. I think this is actually the first Gorguts album I ever heard. However, you also had Deafheaven release Sunbather this year. Not a band that everybody likes. A lot of them see them as a very, hipster black metalers. But that is a fucking fantastic album. Altar of Plagues, Carcass, Surgical Steel, their return after many years. The first album they did since Swan Song. That's also a fantastic album. Nails put out Abandon All Life. Possibly my favourite album of theirs. I mean, I love all their albums, to be fair. They're pretty damn fucking good. Gorguts, Coloured Sand, I could go with this one. Sunbather is also definitely a contender as well. That is a fantastic album, whether people like to admit it or not. A lot of people, a lot less people. Words. Moving on to 2014, Behemoth with the Satanist. This is a difficult one to argue against. This is a phenomenal album. Behemoth had gone through quite a lot of changes throughout the years from album to album, but this album is just, it's a perfect blend of the extreme stuff that they did along with the more progressive and melodic stuff that they brought into it, and it's pretty much a perfect album. Every single song is just spot on. Let's see what else was out. Someone's put here Mastodon's Once More Round the Sun as that. No, it's not. As much as I love Mastodon, Once More Round the Sun would not be my top pick for 2014 by any means. Cynic, Septic Flesh. Looking at the list of other stuff that came out this year, hands down it goes to Behemoth with the Satanist. Absolutely incredible album. Fucking love it. Every song on it is amazing. 2015, Iron Maiden, The Book of Souls. No, I don't. I'm pretty sure there's got to be something better than The Book of Souls, surely. This is personal preference. I know. I would actually put Napalm Death, Apex Predator, Easy Meat. That is a fucking incredible album. What I love so much about that album, you've got a band who are decades into their career and putting out albums with such energy and ferocity that it puts younger bands to shame. I love hearing stuff like that. There's not a huge amount else that really stands out for 2015, to be quite honest with you. I mean, there's some good albums, but not really great albums. But as much as I love Maiden, I'm going to put Napalm Death, Apex Predator, Easy Meat there. So there you go. Fuck you. 2016 Devin Townsend Project, Transcendence. This surprises me. I'm a huge Devin Townsend fan. I recently did my album ranking for Devin Townsend, his solo stuff. This album is not one of my favourite albums in terms of Devin. I love all of his music, but I would not consider this top album of 2016 by any means. I find this one quite odd, actually. Voices by Wormrot, incredible grindcore. You Will Never Be One of Us by Nails. That's an incredible album as well. I'd have put both of those above Transcendence. As much as I love him, I'm going to keep saying it. I love you, Devi, but not one of my favourite albums of his, and I certainly wouldn't put it as top of 2016. That really surprises me. Architects, All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us. As controversial as this might sound, Metallica released Hardwired that year, and I would actually put that above Transcendence. There's some bangers on that album. That does surprise me, that really does. Gojira released Magma that year, which I would definitely put above Transcendence. I know a lot of people have a problem with Magma, but I think that's a great album. Also, Disassociation by the Dillinger Escape Plan. Was this their last album? I thought that was a great album. I really enjoyed that one a lot. Ihsahn with Arktis I would put above this. There's actually quite a lot of albums I'd put above this one. This really surprises me. Again, I'll say it again, I'm a huge goddamn Devin Townsend fan. But I would not choose this album as best of 2016. There are other years where I would have put some of their albums, even though I didn't. For me, it would either be Nails, You'll Never Be One of Us, Ihsahn's Arktis, Dillinger Escape Plans, Disassociate. No, for me, I think I'd go with Opeth. Not Opeth. For me, I think I would definitely go with Gojira Magma. I know it's a bit of a point of contention for some people, but I really enjoy that album. I think it's great. 2017, Power Trip with Nightmare Logic. Fucking great album. We got a real thrash revival going on here. Also this year, Mastodon released Emperor of Sand, which to me was their best album in quite a long time. I love every Mastodon album, but what was it? The Hunter and Once More Round the Sun definitely dipped in quality. There's still fantastic songs on them, but didn't enjoy them as much as their prior stuff. Chelsea Wolf, Hiss Spun, Converge, Foo Fighters, Concrete and Gold. I actually really enjoyed that album. Paul Bearer, Heartless, absolutely insanely good album. But you know what? Oh, Paradise Lost, Medusa, that was a great album. Cavalera Conspiracy with Psychosis, I really enjoyed that one. That was a great album. Cannibal Corpse, Red Before Black, fucking great album. Immolation, Atonement, that was a fantastic Immolation album. Suffocation, Obituaries with a self-titled one. There's actually a lot of great albums that came out this year, but I could give it to... that is a great album. It's a great part of the thrash revival. Sounded all fresh again. I mean, you know, if for no other reason than out of respect to Riley, who tragically is no longer with us, yeah, I could go with that. Power Trip. It is a fucking great album. 2018, Sleep, The Sciences. Not sure I agree with that. I think it's an incredible album, and there were a lot of great albums for 2018 I was reviewing in 2018. So, as much as I enjoyed this, I would not put this as top. Firepower, Judas Priest. Actually, I would put above this. That was a great album from Judas Priest. The Wake by Voivod, that was incredible. Our Raw Heart by Yob. Prequel by Ghost. I might actually go with Prequel by Ghost. And again, I know a lot of people have issues with Ghost. That I think that's a great album. In fact, why didn't... there's so many fucking albums that haven't been coming up. It's just... this has just gone fucking wrong. Northern Chaos Gods by Immortal. Automata 1 and 2, I think, came out with... put them above a lot of other stuff. Yeah, okay, this might be a controversial pick for some. I would actually go with Prequel by Ghost. I really enjoyed that album. I thought it was absolutely fucking so damn catchy all the way through. I really dug it. I don't care. Oh, you're a poser. Fuck off. There's so many albums that I've missed out. This has not gone well. 2019, Tool with Fear Inoculum. This is their first album in 13 years, I want to say. Was it the album of 2019? I'm not convinced about that. Blood Incantation, Hidden History of the Human Race. That was a fucking great album. Candlemass. Cattle Decapitation, Death Atlas. That was an incredible album. I would put that above Tool. Devin Townsend with Empath. That was a great album. Opeth released in Chord of Venenum. Not an insanely good album, but it was. Periphery with Hail Stan. I actually remember that being my album of the year. That was a great album. I know Periphery are a kind of one of those bands that some people dig, some people don't, but I thought that was a fantastic album. Rotting Christ the Heretics. That was a goddamn amazing album as well. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with... I would be far more... Whitechapel with the Valley. That was a great album as well. Yeah, I don't agree with Fear Inoculum at all. I would be more inclined to go with Death Atlas by Cattle Decap. 2020, Loathe. I Let It In and It Took Everything. This was a great album. There was a lot of stuff that I really did enjoy on this album. They're an English band, I believe. Yeah, Liverpool, England. So it's nice to have a bit of the home territories represented. What else did we have that year? Imperial Triumphant with Alphaville. That was a great album. Code Orange with Underneath. That was a great album, though I didn't enjoy it as much as Fuck's sake. Code Orange, I didn't mention, that was 2017, wasn't it? Their album, Forever. That was a fucking great album as well. Jesus Christ. Deftones, Ohms. That also came out. That was also a good album. I really enjoyed that. Killer Be Killed, Reluctant Hero. I really enjoyed that album. Oh my God. Napalm Death, Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism. Hands down. That was my favourite album of 2020. This is a great album. There were a lot of good stuff that came out. Paradise Lost, Obsidian, Pallbearer, Enslaved. Enslaved, that's a damn good album as well, though. But for me, Throes of Joy was Napalm Death firing off on all cylinders on every single thing that is great about that band. Every point of their career was represented in that album. Fantastic album. That is my final choice for 2020. That's the way it is. That's the way it goes. Only a couple more to go. This has been exhausting. This has truly been tiring. This was supposed to be a fun, short video. 2021 with Spiritbox. This might be a bit controversial. I don't actually find them that exciting, to be honest. I got no problem with them. I don't have any issue with them. This isn't some old man, oh, you know, music was better in my day. I love a lot of the modern music. Why am I justifying myself? I listen to their music and it just kind of feels a bit cold to me, to be honest with you. It doesn't really do much for me. Converge and Chelsea Wolfe, Blood Moon, that was a great album. Archspire, Bleed the Future, I enjoyed that one a lot. Trivium's In the Court of the Dragon, that was actually a really, really strong album by them. Mastodon released Hushed and Grim. That's, in all honesty, that's actually quite a tough album to get through as much as I did. Actually, do you know what? The album that I really enjoyed that year was Carcass, Torn Arteries. I thought that was a fucking fantastic return to form. Well, not return to form, they've always been damn good. Architects, Ginger. I've never been a fan of Ginger, to be honest with you. Cannibal Corpse, Violence Unimagined. I haven't mentioned Cannibal Corpse at all. I don't know. I've missed so many bands. There's so many damn good albums that I've missed. It's just... oh, do I record this again? Gojira's Fortitude, no. I would personally give that year to the old school. I know you need to represent the new bands. I'm not taking any away from them. This is totally, my preference. But Cannibal Corpse, Violence Unimagined was such... you had Eric Rutan joining the band. There just felt like such a renewed energy with them. Absolutely incredible. And Carcass with Torn Arteries as well. That was I listened to that album a lot that year, so I can't deny those albums at all. I'm not a huge fan of this band, but there's no denying their impact, and they definitely seem to be one of the up and coming bands that are really paving their carving their own path. I wouldn't personally choose this one, but fair enough. I can see why it's there. Same with 2022, Lorna Shore. I think they're a decent band, actually. I like a lot of their stuff. I'm not necessarily convinced it's the album that I would choose, but there's no denying that these guys are at the forefront of deathcore. Let's just go through some of the other albums that came out this year. Fit for an Autopsy, their album was pretty good. What the Future Holds, that was decent enough. But then again, I haven't really returned to it that much. Megadeth, The Sick, The Dying and The Dead. I'm not a huge Megadeth fan. Hiss by Wormrot, that was a great album. Acts of God, Immolation, that's a great album as well. There's a few albums that I personally would choose over this, but there's no doubt that Lorna Shore are at the, they're at the forefront now in terms of what's going on nowadays. So yeah, I can completely understand that. And 2023, this is the final year represented on this list, is Sleep Token with Take Me Back to Eden. I don't mind Sleep Token. They're not a band that I necessarily go out of my way to listen to, but again, they're definitely the band of the moment, or certainly one of them. Chaos Horrific by Cannibal Corpse, that came out, but Terrorsight by Cattle Decap. I do love my Cattle Decap, I gotta say. Code Orange, The Above, that was a bit of a disappointment, that album, to be quite honest with you. I really enjoyed Godflesh, Purge album, that was a great album, but again, this is one of those ones again where, okay, this is not necessarily for me, but I can understand why it's the top pick. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll get out of there. Although Obituaries, Dying of Everything, that was a great album. There's definitely been a lot of the old school bands who've been releasing really great, strong albums. lately. But yeah, sure, Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden, we'll go with it. That's not what I'd choose, but yeah, that's us done today. Oh man, I'm fucking tired. This was supposed to be one like 20-minute video that I was supposed to just go through. It's ended up being 2 parts. It's taken me over 2 hours to record all this. I've got to edit everything down. Now I'm just whinging. Now this is just an old man whinging. I don't know what's next. I don't know what's going on today, to be honest. So that'll do. I'm going. I'll see you later. We've achieved nothing with this. It started out promising and it's just